Yesterday, Donald Trump went to Michigan on sort of the 100 days roughly of his administration. And one of the people he met with is Governor Gretchen Whitmer. And she is taking a lot of heat for meeting with Trump. She's going to join me next, and we'll talk to her about that. But before we get to that, one of the things Donald Trump did in Michigan is he held a rally in Warren. Now, this was a venue whose maximum capacity was about 4,000.
In the circus of American politics, Donald Trump took center stage in Michigan, but the show was far from full. With a half-empty rally, he pivoted from reality to a bizarre obsession with toilets. This isn't just a quirk, it's a calculated distraction from the real issues plaguing our society. What does it mean when our leaders fixate on plumbing while the nation crumbles?
Setup only allowed about 60% of the space to be used. And there were still many empty seats. As you can see here, even up behind Trump, you see that one of the sort of bleachers, I guess we would call it, on the left under the jobs banner is like half empty. And Donald Trump, of course, is there saying our crowds are so big. AOC and Bernie, they don't have crowds. This was, if you account for the fact that not the entire space was open and then a bunch of it was empty anyway, this is like a half-full rally.
This is a shocking display of desperation. With only 2,000 attendees at a supposedly pivotal rally, it's clear the elite's grip on power is loosening. They manipulate narratives, claiming support that isn't there, feeding a false sense of importance while the real concerns of the American people go ignored.
This is 2,000 people. This is nothing compared to the AOC Bernie crowds. And listen to Trump.
Party. They have no candidates. And when they say that Bernie's probably the best they have. By the way, he's about 7 years older than me, more, 8 years older. One thing I got to give him credit, he's a lunatic, but he's still pretty sharp. And he's going around with AOC +3, the +3 follow him. They hang on for little bits. They hang on for nuggets. And they get crowds. They say, our crowds are so much bigger than their crowds. Their crowds are small. If I ever had a crowd like their biggest crowd, they'd say it's over for Trump.
Yeah, Trump's got 2,000 people at what is his only rally so far of, the year, billed as the big celebration of a successful 100 days. This guy's deranged. But then it got even weirder. Donald Trump once again ranting about toilets. This guy is obsessed with plumbing. This guy is obsessed with water pressure. And once again, toilets. Has there ever been a president as obsessed with toilets as Trump? Was William Howard Taft ranting and raving about being able to flush once? Listen to this.
All night long. And by the way, did you just see what I did? Straws. I wiped out the paper straw, little thing. These are the
I flushed millions of straws down my toilet.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Trump's obsession with toilets is not just comedic, it's a distraction from reality. While he rants about plumbing, the elite continue to pull strings behind closed doors, crafting policies that benefit their interests. This absurd fixation is a diversion from the pressing issues of our time.
Your sink. If you ever try buying a new sink and no water comes out, your shower heads, your toilets, the whole thing, it's a disaster.
Toilet.
We now have it so you can have as much water as you want because it's not an environmental problem. You have areas that can't get rid of their water, and yet they put restrictors on them. You used to take them off, but now you can't because they're welded in, but now you don't have to worry about that. Because
it would be interesting to do an analysis of how many times presidents said the word toilet publicly during their presidencies. It has to be that there's no one who even can hold a candle to Donald Trump. Trump, unclear what actual successes he can tout, is relegated to saying, soon we will be on Mars.
And one day soon, American astronauts will plant the flag on the planet Mars. That's going to happen very soon. Every single day.
It is not going to happen very soon. Mars is a frozen rock, and while absolutely fascinating and I'm sure extraordinarily interesting to look at going to Mars, and it's a project I support, it is not going to be a presidential accomplishment.
This is a classic manipulation tactic. Trump's grand promises of space exploration are mere smoke and mirrors, designed to captivate attention while his administration fails to deliver on crucial domestic issues. This is how the elite maintain control, by dazzling us with fantasies while ignoring the dire realities we face.
It is not going to happen anytime soon. And Trump is just trying to find a way to funnel more money into Elon Musk's pockets. A disoriented Trump talks about firing Biden attorneys, but he just seems mixed up and confused.
Never happened, not even a little chance. We have ended the weaponization of law enforcement and fired Joe Biden's handpicked these are
There's a glitch. You guys notice it?
these are pro-crime U.S. attorneys, except if it's a political person like me.
I dare linguists. The most cunning linguist could not unwind the syntax of that statement. Trump, as usual, knows more than everybody, and he took the opportunity of yesterday's rally to remind us, even when it comes to interest rates, he knows much more about interest rates than the chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Inflation is basically down, and interest rates came down despite the fact that I have a Fed person who's not really doing a good job, but I won't say that. I want to be very nice. I want to be very nice and respectful to the Fed. You're not supposed to criticize the Fed. You're supposed to let him do his own thing. But I know much more than he does about interest rates, believe me.
That's right. Trump knows more about vaccination than virologists. Trump knows more about weapons than the generals. Trump knows more about interest rates than the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He just knows more than everybody. Trump bragging about ending DEI.
I ended all of the lawless so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion bullshit all across the entire federal government and the private sector.
You know Trump is serious because he swore. And finally, Trump giving a shout out to our friend, Mike Pillow Lindell, in the crowd. As we talked about earlier this week, Pillow's having a tough go. But Trump, I guess, still likes him.
This purchaser of ads in history. If he would have bought my ads, I could have had 10 times more ads on. There's never been. Is there any station that doesn't have a Pillow ad in? But he's great, and he's doing great, and he's got a beautiful new wife and all that stuff, and I'm proud of you. Look at him holding hands. They're still holding hands. I'm very proud of him. That's nice. Usually by this time, and a lot of people I know, Mike, by this time it's over. It's over. Look at you holding hands. I love that. I saw that. I pardon.
Oh, boy. So this is what the president is doing on the 100-day mark of his second term, as we learn the economy contracted, GDP down in Q1. And this is what Trump is doing. Sad state of affairs. After the break.
As we wrap up, remember this: the elite thrive on distraction and deception. Trump's toilet talk and space dreams are designed to keep us from questioning their motives. What will it take for us to see through the smoke? Comment below with your thoughts. Are we being manipulated?